County Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, June 20th, 2023 to order. Beth, can you please call roll?
Barry?
Here.
Steve?
Here.
Bo?
Here.
David?
Here.
We've got a quorum. We're going to proceed. Please rise for the pledge. Okay, first item is the consent agenda. What are the wishes?
Motion to approve as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Barry?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Bo?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Motion carried. We're going to go into the report from department heads, and before we start this one, the first one on here is Development Services. This is an update from staff to the board, so we're not going to make this a public meeting and have a discussion from other. If there are questions, we'll ask them from up front. So, Cameron, you want to go ahead?
Good morning, Commissioners. Cameron Heimer, Development Services. I appreciate the time you've given me this morning to update you on the data center west of town. I'll go over a few items here during my update, and one of them will be the May 2nd letter that was sent to FX Solutions and Atlas Power following their appeal and the decisions and conditions that the board had put on phase 2 of their project. I have been working with FX Solutions with Rick Tabish, who's been working with Kiger Hill from Three Fork Services. They have been very communicative. They have responded. But as I go through these items, I think there's been some internal issues with communication as things move along over to the Atlas side of things. But at the end of the day, the conditions that were to be met, not all of them were met. And so again, I'm going to go over these. The first one was to obtain final inspections for each building in phase 2 and a certificate of occupancy for all of phase 2, including approval from the North Dakota State Electrical Board. It's from my understanding, we had conducted a site visit just on Friday, June 16th, which was the 45-day deadline date that the board had given them to come into compliance. They, I believe, had mentioned the buildings, and I could be incorrect, but all of them were inspected by the state. I'm not sure how many the state actually tagged or stickered to say that they were approved. However, they have not called in for any final inspections from the building division here at the county, so we have not done any final inspections. I did send out our fire inspector Friday afternoon to take a look at the buildings. He did give me a brief summary that the buildings did have fire extinguishers in them. However, there were some issues with some of the exit doors. Fire code says that you can't have use more than 30 pounds of force to open up a door, and some of them are stuck. So that is something that we will have to review before any finals or certificate of occupancy are issued on the building. One of the other conditions that the board had put is 24/7 security personnel on site. They have had a security guard on site. Every time I go to the west end of the property, there is a security guard there in his pickup truck. I haven't seen one on the east side yet. I don't know if maybe the times I were there that the security guard wasn't over there, but there is one on the west side. One of the conditions was also to build a buffer strip in accordance with the heavy industrial zoning district. There was some talking with Mr. Tabish on the property on Friday. There were some concerns with the temporary sound wall and how that buffer strip would work, but he assured us that they were coming up with a plan of action to get that done. Number 5 was to meet with neighbors and find a sound level that is satisfactory within reason. There has been nothing done as far as the sound levels, in my opinion. They're still extremely loud out there. As of Friday, there has been no walls erected or any dirt work done to erect these walls, so that they're still failing to control the sound that is coming from that property. They did sign the general release and waiver form of liability, so we'd gotten that done. In addition, the board also said they were ordered them to pay fines of $500 a day per building starting April 25th when the initial stop work order was issued. As of today's meeting, the total fines are at $224,000, and so those would need to be paid as well before any certificate of occupancy is issued to the phase 2 of the project. And that's just a handful of things that they were required to do, but as of today's meeting, they have failed to meet all the conditions that were required of them per building code, per zoning code, and per the board. And so today, the recommendation that I would have is to order Montreal Williams to cut power to phase 2 of the project until they can come into compliance with the building code, with the zoning ordinance, and also the conditions that the board set forth. And I'm open to any questions if you have any.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Cameron?
Yeah, just one question. We had a presentation from the noise canceling folks, Urban Solutions, I think is the name of the company. Have you gotten any update as to whether or not any of that's coming to fruition?
So when we conducted our site visit on Friday, Mr. Tabish had told us that they were trying to secure a contract. I believe Atlas's attorneys were reviewing that contract, but as of Friday, that's where it was. They were just in the review period of it. I'm not sure if they've ever committed to it yet.
Anybody else have questions for Cameron? Well, then I guess we would entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation to order Montreal Williams to cut power from phase 2.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I would second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I will send Montreal Williams communication today, this afternoon, to let them know that the board has ordered that.
Okay, thank you for the update. Next, we're going to go to County Highway. Dennis.
I would like authorization to bid trucks, and if we get a bid, and if we get accepted, we're, 14 to 18 months out before they'd be here. So, there's a lot of ifs. Just like to advertise and see what we can find.
When you say trucks, how many are you?
3.
3?
Yeah.
I would make a motion to allow the county highway to look for bids for trucks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, Beth.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Motion carried.
That's it.
That's it? You got nothing else?
This time.
All right. I think that was it for department heads. Helen, I believe you're up. Did we miss something that we needed to have? Ed, did you have something? You want it? He said he was told to be here.
Sounds like it was an item that could have been on the agenda, but we didn't get the correspondence or whatever it was related to something Karen was working on.
Okay.
And Karen is gone.
And she's gone, so that won't. Okay, let's go to you, Helen.
All right, so you see a report in front of you. We don't have any open positions on this cycle that need approval. You'll see the ongoing list of positions that we have open, and then we do have several board positions that we're advertising to the public. Typically, we try and get those appointments done prior to the term ending, but you'll see the Library Board of Trustees position, because we were working through the agreement with the city. We did wait until that agreement was finalized, and then we have now listed the position that was typically assigned, designated specific to the county commission. under the new agreement, neither the city or the county will have that special designation, so it's just a member of the public as chosen. So that's been opened, even though it's a little off of the normal timeline. Any questions on that? The other thing that we need to do then today is appoint, well, you can have discussion, but typically we have all 5 county commissioners as members of the county park board. And you'll see that those terms are expiring or have expired, and so it's time to re-up those appointments. Unless you wanted to change the configuration, you aren't required to have it the way that you do today, although it has been, I think, for all 26 years that I've been here, 5 county commissioners and a couple members of the public.
Okay, would anybody be interested in entertaining a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes, motion carried.
Then you'll see that it's also time to reappoint our 2 members to the CRIB, the Coordinated Regional Interoperability Board. That relates to 911 dispatch and the overlap that happens along the boundaries of dispatch centers, and also just the coordinated effort across agencies related to the dispatch of emergency workers. So we do have 2 seats, and it's really a seat and then an alternate. And you'll see that Tim Hagan, who is the Upper Missouri Regional River Dispatch Director, and then the sheriff is the second. So again, I'd ask for reappointment of those 2, please.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
David, Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes,
Bo.
Yes.
motion carried.
That's all I have today, gentlemen.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
With that, I see Commissioner Montgomery has a question.
I would like to entertain a motion that the board institute a 6-month moratorium building permits for data centers to give the planning and zoning department some time to review our regulations and come back to this board with any recommendations.
You said 6 months?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have a motion, 6-month moratorium. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
motion carried. Anybody off the board have anything else? Meeting is adjourned.